on the flip side, now you've been able to navigate internally to get what you need. How are you seeing, I know you're going into companies and helping them. How are you seeing the downstream effect? So the change, people in the organization's reaction to the change in process or adopting new ways of building learning or delivering learning?
The efficacy in time is the biggest change that I'm seeing so far, in that right from that we're saving at least 30%
Yeah.
of the amount of time that we would spend on the rote part of building content, which is by far the most time intensive part of whatever it is, the design of the structure of whatever your content is. I think that's probably, for me anyway, that's the most intensive from a time perspective. It just takes time, right? You have to get with your SMEs. If you're not the SME, you have to do the interviews, you have to build the content, right? And that entire workflow can be disrupted with AI.
Yeah.
And that can save at least 30%. There are estimates out there that say over the next couple of years, that number is going to jack up to 45, 50, maybe even 60%.
Wow.
But it also means that I can then focus on what would have been more important things
I know.
in the process, right? We didn't have time to do. It means I can tackle more content. It means that the issue that we have always had is I only have this many people.
Yeah.
Whatever this many is for you. Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's a team, sometimes it's hundreds, right? At Oracle, we had 250 content developers stretched out across the globe.
Wow.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Across all of the product lines, right? So knowing that, I can leverage my time to do more content, to build, in some cases, better content, because we had to get something out. Dave Darrington talks a lot about iteration, right, in his delivery of what customer education is. And I don't disagree with that. But if I was responsible at Oracle for 52 courses, one person across 4 product lines.
Using the really traditional process too.
Right, very traditional process. Granted, I did a lot of it myself, but imagine now that I could barely touch each course every year.
Yes.
Barely.
Yeah. One thing I had been advising is to pick one use case to start. So what is your biggest pain point that you can't solve with your current process or current tools or people? And then go research if there's a way to do it, or all the forums that you just talked about. Are there things that other people are doing in the industry to solve that problem? And then trying that use case. So whether it's through a technology, maybe doing a trial version or experimenting with different process, and seeing what successes or productivity gains you can get, and then socializing that, and then tackle another use case. And
exactly.
Probably this is change management 101, but I do see that the change management piece seems to be hard for some learning organizations that have perhaps been doing this.
And I think because the technology itself is new, people think that the change management process should be different than what we normally would do. And It's not. It really is the same thing. It's just another tool in our toolkit. And leveraging that, socializing it, making sure that the right people are in from the decision-making process, right? If your team needs to be helping you make decisions about it, make sure they're there. Make sure you have representatives. If you're talking about cross-functional collaboration, because this tool is something that more than one team will use, build out that cross-functional collaboration as you're working with the purchasing of the tool, right? Again, these things are not new to us. That process of change management is not new. And don't assume that AI is so different that we have to create a new process for that. We don't.